Gad is, of course, and this is what I caught. Everybody says it's true, you know, a troop.
Yeah.
Well, there's a difference, because if you go back when he was first born, and I just caught this, you know, doing this, getting things ready for this class. But in the Complete Jewish Bible, it says when Leah saw that she had stopped having children, in other words, God had closed up her womb, it says she took Zilpah, her slave girl, and gave her to Yaakov as a wife. It says Zilpah, a slave girl, bore Yaakov a son. And Leah said, good fortune has come, calling him Gad. Good fortune.
Good fortune.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if you go
Enough
back,
room for one more?
sure, come on in, man. Everybody's at a meeting, but we're going to go with it anyway.
Yeah.
And if they miss out, they miss out, you know. But anyway, if you go into Genesis 49, when Yaakov is, you know, passing away, and he gives the blessings to his son.
Yeah.
He says in Genesis 49, this would be in the Big Jewish Bible, 19, he says, Gad, troop, a troop will troop on, but he will troop on their heel. Now, it wasn't, and man picked that up and just kept saying, well, Gad means troop. No, Gad didn't mean troop, because the way that I see it, back here in the beginning in Genesis, when Leah was, you know, telling him that was he was good fortune, and people don't understand that meaning to me was God giving us the names and the interpretation of what they are.
Yeah.
And so I believe his name was good fortune, and that's what I use in all my teachings is good fortune. Although the banner that he's under shows him with tents, you know, as troops.
Yeah.
But there's a reason why, because I'll tell you, it's a powerful little tribe for a couple letters. But Gad was born on the 10th of Chesvan in 2198, which would relate to the 28th of October, 1564 BCE here. What's interesting about that is Gad lived 123 years, and he was born on the 10th of Chesvan, and he died on the same day. 123 years later, on his birthday,
Whoa.
he passed away.
Yeah, that's astounding. You know, that's
Yeah. I don't know if that would be a
that's
very
not
good
coincidence. That can't be coincidence.
Yeah, a celebration. I don't think I'd want to look forward to. Yeah. But in Numbers 2, if you look, when Reuben asked to be on the east side of the Jordan, Reuben asked, and Gad, because they were big cattlemen, and so when they asked, and then they said, does this mean that you don't want to fight with your brothers? You know, they were accused. Reuben was a very passive tribe. They weren't aggressive. You know, that's why he lost, of course, his blessing of being the firstborn. Yeah. But Gad wasn't. But he wanted, you know, but Gad wanted that land over there as well because of the pasture, because they were cattle herders and sheepers. And, you know, they had a lot of livestock. Yeah. Very well known for it. And so, but what happened was that they went to war. Gad were great warriors. They would fight. That God did something that, going through these teachings that I found out, he didn't let Reuben be the first one to go back over there. Gad was the first one that got planted there. So really Gad got the first pick of land. And then he said, and he put, of course, half of Manasseh up there next to Gad, and then Reuben on the other side. But Gad were who were great warriors, and so was Manasseh, and they were guarding that side
Yeah.
on account of they just, you know, come through the promised land. And it said, some of the teachings also say that Gad was born circumcised. Now, I've heard a couple teachings like that, and not only was, you know, did they teach that Gad was, they say that Moshe was. But if you really look at it, it doesn't really matter whether they were born circumcised or uncircumcised, because according to Jewish law, they still had to go through a Brit Milah. They still had to be circumcised, one way or another. And you know, there's different ways that I hear of doing that,
Yeah.
but it didn't really matter as to whether they were or not. They were still to go have a Brit Milah. But if you look at the maps of where they were at, they were right straight across from Ephraim and Manasseh on this side. So they were, you know, they had the upper area. They had a good choice area to defend. Of course, they were right across from Issachar. So you know, they had an important strategic place, you know, to watch over the children of Israel. So it was very important.
And that was more like the assignment that they got.
Yeah.
To fulfill their role and their purpose.
And they were also one of Gad's people. Ended up being one of David's great mighty men as well. You know, he was with David when Saul was after him, and,
Okay.
and so and this is what's interesting. I looked at this, and it says that the Gadites who hated David while they were hiding from Saul, they were men trained for battle. This is what they were noted for: men trained for battle. They had faces of lions and were swift as gazelles. Now we know through other teachings and going through it how fast Naphtali was. Naphtali was the swiftest of all the children. He was the fastest. So it shows you the supernatural powers that these guys had. They also said these guys were very prophetic with the shields and the spear. That they were very well trained, and they were experts. They call them experts in that field. So you know, it's interesting to see. I found a lot about a little tribe that you don't think much about. Anyway, the thing about the two letters in this tribe are it closely resembles the name of God, except for one thing. The people of Israel pronounce this because they won't pronounce the name of God.
Yeah.
You know, the name of God they'll use. In fact, they don't even use, the ones that I've met and talked to don't use Adonai, and they don't use anything but Hashem.
Just,
You know,
yeah.
it's very important to them that they don't use the name of God. They don't even recognize this, you know, as the name of God. Where you and I would recognize it and say, you know what, put that dash in there.
Yeah.
It's God, but the God to them is the two Yuds and Yahweh, which is unpronounceable, and they don't even recognize Yahweh or Yah or any of that stuff. You know, they won't even, well, you know, if they're not going to pronounce this, they surely aren't going to pronounce that.
Especially not something that you know is wrong.
And then, yeah, and you know, and they're taught, like like what Pastor Glenn said today, they're taught at a young age, you know, the Levitical laws. They start in kindergarten, 5 years old, and they start then. And so by the time they get up here, they'll know that, you know, when they look at this, they'll say, it's tribe of Gad, or somebody named Gad, you know. But he's made up of three